Everyone with a Montauk 150 knows that the storage space is extremely limited. So I wanted to put a Yeti LoadOut box on my 150, and I wanted to put it in a place where I wasn't going to be drilling into the boat itself. So what was I willing to give up? And I was willing to give up this lid right here. Now, I'd repainted this lid with a non-stick because it was faded and the paint was coming off. But you can see that's just my live well area there. And to be honest, I don't really use the live well, so I put some bumpers in there. That's kind of what I store. But I've got this kit here, and this is a tie-down kit that I need to put on each side in order to keep the loadout box in place. Now, Yeti itself makes a tie-down kit, but I can tell you it's 2.5 times more expensive than this $20 tie-down kit off of Amazon. And this is all stainless steel hardware, including the screws. I'm getting away from the screws that came with it because it's sort of like a wood screw, and it's too long. It would go down and the points would stick through the width of this cover right here. So I got some. They're 1 inch long, stainless steel, and then it's got the beveled top so that it will fit in the beveled bracket just like so. And then I'll go down far enough through here but won't leave a point. And I've got some lock nuts on here with the nylon locking thread. You can see there. Here's how this went. I positioned the loadout box on top of the live well cover, and then I made sure I measured the edges to make sure that it was nice and square, evened up. But one thing you've got to watch out for is you want to be able to raise your motor all the way and not have it hit the back of the loadout box, and I think I'm good on that. So once I measured the box on the lid to make sure everything was square and even, because my OCD demands that, I went ahead and marked the holes and drilled pilot holes. When I had the Yeti box on there, I went ahead and laid out the brackets themselves. And these brackets, you can see they're beveled brackets, so anything should be able to still slide over them, and you can step on them, use this as a casting deck still, and not have to worry about tripping over anything. But once I had the box on there and centered, then I measured where I wanted these brackets, and then I went ahead and drilled some pilot holes, and then the final 1/8 inch holes that I put in here. Did I mention I have OCD? So I made sure the name, if you read it from outboard. And I wanted these screws to be pretty tight in those holes, so I made the hole just big enough to where I have to screw one of these in. It doesn't drop in right away. So I'm just going to start these out with a screwdriver itself, and then I'll use my drill to get them all the way sunk, and then I'll work on the washers and the nuts on the backside. The way these are going in, they're actually tightening up pretty nicely. Let's go ahead and see how far that's sticking out of the backside. And you can see I've got, at least 1/4 inch sticking out there. And this is a 1 inch screw that I used. The next size smaller was a 1/4 inch smaller, and I didn't think the nut would have enough to grab onto, so I went ahead and went with 1 inch. I've attached all the nuts and the washers. Another thing you want to watch out for, just when you're measuring where you want to put this brace right here, the inside lip of the live well, you want to make sure it doesn't come down on that. You want to have good enough clearance. So what I did was, when I marked my holes and I drilled the very first pilot hole, I made sure by looking on the underside that I was going to clear that, and it clears just fine. Take my 3/8 inch socket, tighten those up, kind of snug them, and we're done. We've got a nice clean install, and it matches up well because it's polished chrome with the original hardware on the lid itself. Let's get the loadout box on here and strap it down, and we'll see what the finished product looks like. Now you thread the strap only through the bottom because we still want to be able to open the lid. Thread it through the bracket and it slides through very easily. This strap is a little long, so I'll probably have to cut that. There we go, easy peasy. Let me shake this thing and see how solid it is. The latch down here, the OEM latch, holds really well, and I'd probably have to rip that lid off out of the hinges in order to get this thing undone. And here we are, got nice storage for whatever I need. First aid kit, binoculars, fishing tackle. I could put it all in there. And I know that's not going anywhere. I think this can be a great accessory for the boat. And if I don't want it in there, I can always take it out, and all it leaves is these nice smooth brackets on the lid itself. Now you might be thinking, all right, Tom, you want to get into your live well, but now you've got a box covering the latch. So all you have to do is loosen these just a touch, and I can do the latch, which I already said I don't use very much, but I keep my mission bumpers in there. The very last thing to do is to cut the straps and cauterize the end of them. I'm really done now. See, the straps look nice and clean. I've got access to storage, got my pouch up here, a tray, full access here. I will say this, I don't know if I would put a cooler on here, only because the bouncing up and down and the hinges on the door of the live well itself, but to be honest, it would probably take that. And if I wanted to go back to OEM altogether, I guess I could find another starboard door like this, but really this is just a nice clean install like I like them, and this is going to come in extremely handy. I hope you found this video interesting and informative, and I'll see you in the next video.